How are you all doing today? It's cold outside. I can hear the wind. Can't remember. I don't know if we're supposed to be getting snow or not. Hop on, say hello. Tell me where you're from. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. January 28th. We're almost there. We're almost at the end. Hashtag hello. Good morning. Hello, Sharon. Good morning. Good morning. Hopefully you're having 1 degree. Dang, that's so cold. So cold. I'm not a fan. Not a fan. Good morning. So Sharon's in Central Alabama, and it is chilly there. Sharon, I did my officer training for the military when I became an Air Force officer in Montgomery, Alabama, in the middle of summer. And that was quite an experience for me. Thriller Thursday. Yeah. Hi, good morning, Lisa. I had never been to that part of the United States before. And we do not have humidity in Utah like that. It can get humid, but it's still a very dry humidity. So that was an eye-opening experience. And I will say that after traveling to other places after the fact, that really wasn't even that horrible as far as humidity goes, but it was definitely worse than here. And that was my first experience with a tornado, was when I was in Alabama. So I remember being like, what is going on right now? And seeing the sky turn green. And I had no idea that, I mean, after you've lived somewhere, because I then relocated to Kansas for a couple years, and you could just tell, right? Someone would be like, oh, there's a tornado. You could feel it and you could see it, and the sky was different. And I'm like, nah, I don't really think there's a tornado. So it was kind of weird. Yes. Okay, so let's chat, my friends. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I had this conversation with someone yesterday, and I had brought up that somebody had just not got a good attitude. And they were like, well, what do you expect? And I was like, I expect that people have a better attitude. And then this person made a comment about, well, they don't have a good attitude because they've been working at the same place and they don't like their job for 40 years. And of course, that's probably an exaggeration. They probably really haven't been there for 40 years. And I was like, okay. And they're like, so, that's why they're miserable. And I said, misery is a choice. And they said, well, really, they're just burned out. And I was like, okay, but a couple of things here, right? A couple of things here is that, number one, if I say to myself, I've worked here for 40 years, and so I'm miserable, then you're right. You are, because you just told yourself you are. So why wouldn't you be? But you're making a choice. You're making a cognitive choice to tell yourself that you're miserable because you've been here for 40 years. Now, the other thing is, get out of your victim mode, because people that are in the victim mode, that is the lowest level of cognitive awakening and spiritual awakening that you can be at. I've been looking into this a lot lately as I work with people, because it's very obvious. Yay, congratulations. You started a new job this week, Sharon. Happy joy. That's good. Fantastic. Love that for you. But if you're in the victim place, you're never going to go anywhere, right? You're just in this like cycle. Woe is me. I'm so miserable. All these bad things are happening to me. Nothing good ever happens to me. I didn't choose to do this, blah, blah, blah. Everything that we do is a choice. Everything that we do is a choice. We're given a choice in every single situation that we have. Now, we're not always offered this most fantastic opportunity, but in every situation that we're in, you have a choice of some kind. And so you make the best with what you get. And the more positive you are about it, the more you'll start attracting more positive, beautiful opportunities. If you sit in this victim space and you're like, oh, it's not fair because I'm in so much pain, I can't get out of bed, and I'm so depressed and I'm so whatever, right? You're just reaffirming with yourself that that is it. And so sometimes we just have to, accept it. I work here. I've been here for 40 years. What kind of choice can I make today? Get a little in the moment where you're like, curious about it. When you get into this little moment where you're curious about it, things start happening for you. And I was going to write this down because I did this yesterday. I was dealing with a situation where I wasn't 100% sure what I should do. And I just accepted it, right? You're getting yourself from that victim mode into a higher level of cognitive and situational and subconscious and spiritual awareness. Good morning, Robin. Happy Thursday from snowy Maine. I met a really cool lady that was an energy healer from Maine yesterday. She was saying it was pretty cold outside. But transforming yourself into this better spot where you can receive things, right? How would it be if you could stop fighting through your day? What if things just started to come to you? That's what I'm talking about. You got to get out of that space. So the more that you're miserable in this victim mentality, you can never get into this higher awakening where things just kind of happen for you. So let me tell you what I do when I get into a situation where I have a problem, right? I relax. I just sit quiet for a minute and instead of focusing on my problem, I think about it as in what are some of the scenarios that can happen for me? Nice. What are some of the situations that can happen for me? Why is this happening? Question it. Question it with curiosity. There's a difference between questioning it with curiosity and saying, I wonder why this is happening to me, instead of being like, I wonder why this is happening. Why is this happening to me, right? I wonder why. And sometimes when you get yourself in this quiet moment and you slow down your cognitive thinking, your spiritual, more subconscious has the ability to pop up and say, hey, here you go. Okay, I'm going to tell you about a moment that I had this morning when I was doing this. So when I'm working on people and we're doing a body code session, when I find something like a trapped emotion, or even if they were exposed to a parasite, or they have a traumatic event, or they have a they have recovery interference or a post-traumatic something, okay? So one of the things that we do is a lot of times your subconscious needs a little bit of prompting to be able to get rid of and process these things. And so I'd like to tell you what age that it happened. And I realized that I was having this issue where every once in a while when I'm working with a client, I'm not even going to freak out. Good morning to myself. Mandy, you're subbing first grade today. Goal, keep the kids alive and get them back to their parents. Oh, yes, all in one piece. I love that. Okay. So, I had this thought where I was like, why? I'll give you an example. So maybe the client that I'm working on is 24. Okay. So obviously when I'm muscle testing, every once in a while, I'll get an age that is greater than their actual age. And then I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, right. If you're only 24, how can this happen to you when you're 42? And so usually I just take a moment. I do the thing that I'm just telling you about. And I'm like, okay, relax and relax and let this ability to, so I stop, I breathe, I connect with my higher self. And I'm like, okay, muscle test that again. What age are you impressioning now? And I get it. And then it's usually something different. But I realized this morning that what was going on. And sometimes it's simply, I have a tiny bit of dyslexia. And sometimes my mental, cognitive brain and my subconscious, when I'm working on someone and getting those impressions, gets a little out of whack, right? And so that's why I have to take a minute and breathe. So two things are either happening. Your subconscious is talking too fast to mine, and I can't process completely through my stupid little peon dinosaur Tyrannosaurus Rex brain, or I simply flip flop your age. So instead of saying, oh, this happened to you at 24, I flipped it to 42. But the reason I'm telling you this is because I want you to understand that when you get into that space where you relax and you just feel it and you're like, okay, there's a problem. Instead of trying to fix it, right? What happens if I focus on it? What happens if I sit here as a practitioner and I'm like, I'm getting the wrong age. I don't know. This can't be working. What do I start doing? I start resisting what I'm doing and it starts persisting. And Dave knows this. And I think he's on because he said hello. Because I had this question for him yesterday because I was kind of having a mental freak out. And right when I keep focusing on that, then that's what keeps persisting. But when I stop and I stop trying to actually figure the problem out and I just sit and I think, okay, this is curiouser and curiouser, right? Alice in Wonderland. What is going on here? I wonder why I'm getting this conflicting age thing. And I sort of release it and I allow it to come to myself. I stop and it comes. It's a beautiful thing. It takes a little bit of practice, but I'm serious. Next time you're focused on a problem, take a minute. Now, if you're like, I don't know how to get into this space that you keep talking about where you're like, right, Zen, it's super easy. Quiet your mind. That's all you're doing. So whatever works for you. It's really easy, right? If you go outside and you get away from everyone and you sit in the grass, then you take your shoes and socks off and you stick your feet in the grass, grounding. But sometimes you can't do that. So you just relax your body. I like to think of it, if you've done Pilates before, there's this thing called a C curve, okay? And you basically wrap your shoulders into this like little curve. Almost think of it as melting. So sometimes I just relax and I melt down into a C curve. And you just breathe and you do it with intention. And if you still are finding your mind not quieting, you need to focus on your sensories. What am I smelling right now? How am I feeling? You see me do this a lot because this is me connecting. Feel yourself. What am I hearing? Breathing it out. You can even focus on what are you tasting. Okay? You're quieting your mind because you're focusing on your senses. If you need to, grab something. Like I have thousands of candles, right? What am I smelling? These are really cool candles. These are from Mythology or something. I should say it right. But anyway, she has super cool fragrances. So this is Four Thrones Prophecy. They're just really cool stuff. Anyways, breathing it out. When you get into this space, then you can start being like, okay, now I'm in this higher place. You've released yourself from being a victim and you're just now allowing things to flow. And you will get some beautiful resolutions to your problems because you just allow it to come in. So that's what I do. When I get a problem, I do that. I get into that space and now I'm just like, okay, I'm curiouser and curiouser. Why am I muscle testing the wrong age? That's interesting. So interesting that I'm muscle testing the wrong age. Isn't that just... And then it'll come and you'll be like, oh, I'm muscle testing the wrong age because sometimes I just get a little block or the age is backwards. Or I just need to muscle test again because that connection between my client and myself and my subconscious, that energy has a little boop. It's not the end of the world. Doesn't mean I'm losing my capability, my ability, right? So whatever it is that you're dealing with today, feel it. Feel it, acknowledge it. And then just hum it, feel it, acknowledge it. Okay. Because I'm going to tell you one more quick little thing. I'm going to give you one more little tidbit, one more little cookie. This is going to help you too. I ran across this other post yesterday. Someone was making a post about Native Americans and their long hair and the tradition and the culture behind it. I honestly will tell you, I didn't have time to read the post, so I don't really know exactly what it was about. But someone said, oh my gosh, then I shouldn't trim my hair. And then the person that posted it was like, no, that's not what this means. It's just telling you that they believed that you'll have, go Google it, someone. I don't know. I should have really looked it up, and I probably will. I just didn't have time. But here's what I'm telling you this for, because I want you to understand the underlying issue here. Stop allowing yourself to get so sucked into what I have to do. When you run a business, I have to do it this way. I have to do my social media this way. I have to whatever. I was laughing because you've seen me posting the Resilient Parent Conference, okay? Because I'm a speaker and I'll be on tomorrow. Tomorrow is my day. It's got a lot of good stuff for people about talking about how to deal with your kids. So you'll watch it, and every single speaker that I watched yesterday, right? They are all dressed up, super professional. They have beautiful, cute little backgrounds of their office. Their office is, it's serenity, it's zen. And they're wearing, they're dressed up, their hair is nice, whatever. Literally, here comes Amy. My interview, you're going to see me pop up, and I got the whimsical freaking thing going on behind me. My hair is a hot mess. I just got home from work. I'm wearing a Jack and Sally shirt, and I'm owning it like a rock star. That is me. I will not conform to anything. I told someone yesterday, when COVID is gone and I have the opportunity to speak publicly, I'm probably going to wear pajama pants because I'm going to rock it, and that's going to be my signature. I'm going to come to these freaking professional things in a pair of pajama pants and a t-shirt. You know why? Because you're going to freaking remember me. You're going to remember the speaker that was like, what is happening right now? Own it. Own it. You don't need to trim your ends off or not trim your ends off because of whatever you think or feel, or will not feel. No, it's whatever you see other people telling you to do. Break out of this freaking box and do stuff that feels right to you. Stop doing things because that is what you think the culture says, that is what you think, whatever. I'm a huge advocate for scientific research, but at the same time, how many times do they come back and say, oh, wait, we actually are telling you now not to do this. Caffeine is good for you. Caffeine is bad for you. This is good for you. This is bad for you. Whatever, whatever, whatever. This is the beautiful part of breaking out of a victim cycle and getting to a spot where you are actually awakening. You can feel things that are good for you or not good for you. And it's beautiful. Sit in your space. Ask yourself a question. Is this opportunity right for me? I was talking to Dave about this yesterday. I was like, think about this opportunity. Does this opportunity help you? Does it help you grow? Do you benefit from it? Or are you doing it to people please? Are you doing it because you're going to get something? Is it going to magnify into something more beautiful for you? Okay. All right. I have to go. I'm running late because I have so much to share with you today. So socks, don't forget to share. You can win the Baby Yoda socks tomorrow. We're giving those away. Share a video, type share, blah, 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 blah. What socks am I wearing today? I'm wearing Sally socks because I love her. She picks herself up, she sews her leg back on, and off she goes again to, Sally might be a tiny bit too much of a people pleaser, but still, she falls out the window, she sews her leg back on, and you got to give her credit for that. All right, you guys. Love you. Thanks for joining. Don't forget to be your authentic self. Love who you are. Do not get into the mindset of having to be what everyone thinks you should be. Be who you want to be. Be what feels good for you. And when you do that, you will find